This is Erica Glessing, and you're joining me today on the Erica Glessing Show. And I received a beautiful message from Spirit today. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I had to stop everything and share it with you. And I actually found it hidden inside of a book by someone named Toby Alexander. So it was really interesting. And I was asking for guidance from Spirit, asking for the messages to come in. And what I got was, be the ocean, not the waves. Like, recognize that you are the ocean, this joy that cannot be not. It's like it is you, it's who you are. And the waves are impermanent. The waves are emotional distractions. The waves are bumps and bruises along the path. So today, just stand in the light of this happiness quotations brought to you by me, Erica Glessing. And you can receive more happiness quotations at happinessquotations.com. And today's interview is really, really inspirational. I know I say that a lot. I know. I'm like Adam on The Voice. Like, this is really good. Wait, no, this is really good. My guest today's name is Phillip Andrew, and he is nominated for an Emmy Award at the time of this airing. So I'm very joyful to have his inspiration joining with mine today for you. And just go out and be you today, go out and be your you. Be that ocean of you and not distracted by the waves. So hello, welcome to the Erica Glessing Show, where you receive 8 minutes of inspiration. And my guest today is quite inspiring. He's a young, oh my goodness, second-time Emmy-nominated television producer from the Los Angeles area. He's friends with a dear friend of mine, Alex Bryant. So Alex said, hey, you've got to meet Phillip Andrew Barb, and I said yes, and here we are now. So welcome, Phillip Andrew Barb. I'm so glad I could pull you off of your production duties.
Oh my goodness, I really appreciate you having me on, Erica. Thank you very much. I'm happy to see what we'll get into in 8 minutes.
I know. So tell me the show you're actually in production on now. You said you just finished some of the really fun out in the field, work all day, work until it's done, and now you're doing post. Tell me a little bit about what you're into right now.
Yeah, so we're actually doing a new fitness competition show that'll be coming out later in 2019. I always hate to be this guy because I always hate listening to interviews and hearing people say, "Oh, I can't talk about the title yet," but I really can't talk about the title yet.
Yeah, exactly.
I always hate that. I always hate it because it's always so frustrating.
Yeah, because what if it changes, right?
But it is one of those things. You have to sign the NDAs and these things. But we were kind of joking even a little bit about the production hours can be grueling. We had one day that was 8 a.m. until 11 p.m. So you're working 14, 15 hours a day. But it's so. I tell people, if you love it, it's amazing. If you hate it, it's the worst job in the world. Like, if you don't enjoy doing it, then it's just terrible. But if you love it, it's fantastic. And now we're in post on it, and it's very exciting stuff. And we joked a little bit about getting ready to go. The Daytime Emmy Awards are coming up, and thank you for throwing out my the accolades. It always sounds terrible when I say them. So it's better to hear someone else say it.
I remember my mom when she got her Emmy nomination, and everyone asked her what she's going to wear. And she was kind of in a dilemma because she just wasn't one of those Now, here's my mom. She was willowy, blonde, 5'8", slender, and curvy.
Yeah.
But she, like, the idea of wearing a dress, she didn't even wear dresses. She's not. My mom was like such a feminist. She wore pants. Like, she wore pants. I can probably think of maybe twice she wore a skirt. So I was cracking up when and as we were talking. So what kinds of things go into getting dressed when you have to go be on an Emmy event?
Oh yeah. I mean, for me, it's super easy, right? You just just wear a suit. You get a suit, or you go in. Luckily for me, I got the opportunity. We were nominated last year, and so the tuxedo shop still has my sizes. I don't even know if I have to go in for fitting. I could just call them up and say, "Hey guys, it's Phil again." And this year, I think I'll take the gray one. I'll take the gray one this year.
And then are you gonna keep your beard?
Oh, now that is a good question. That's all, you know, like you never know. Do you go clean shave? Do you shave the
Or
beard?
kind of halfway
You
shave?
go scruffy, right?
Right, scruffy. I know.
Because the
Scruffy.
mistake, right? The mistake is going in with like a fresh, brand new haircut. And then
Ah!
and then people look at you and they're like, "Oh, really? You got a haircut?" Or, you know, now, you know, I'm in, you know, here in Southern California, right? Like it's sunny out. If I get a haircut, now you see how untanned the side of my head is. And so these are things you got to think about. These are the things you have to think about.
I love that, guys. You heard it here first. Phillip Andrew Barb, they're nominated for the second Daytime Emmy Award nomination. He's going to find out pretty soon, and we're going to make sure we'll post it here how he does. But
oh, thank you. Only if I win. Only if we win. I don't want.
Yeah, if you don't win, we'll just keep it as nominated, which is still very awesome.
It is. It's always an honor, and it really is just one of the. You know, you don't do it for those things, right? You do it because you love the shows and you want to make an impact on what the programs are. But it is always nice to have that moment where you're, you know, a show that you work on and you just know how hard the team worked and what went into it.
Yeah.
And for us, you know, we're nominated for outstanding educational programming. So for me, you know, being, you know, obviously I'm a television producer, but I also do speaking with high school students and middle school students and college kids. And so for me, the education is so impactful and it's so important to me to be able to marry my love of television with my love of being able to connect with, you know, the next generation and in entertaining and educating. So I feel very honored
about that when you and you know, you'll have to come back when your book comes out, because I know you're in the process of the book, but because that's perfect for my audience too. But why don't you just tell us real quick, like when you go and speak to kids, like I speak to middle schoolers too, what is there one or two things that like you just wish they would take, like they'd leave the room thinking, or what's a couple things that after they hear you speak, like it would just really make your heart feel good?
Totally. Right. I think it's interesting. And this is the different dynamic of when you speak to adults versus when you speak to kids. You know, when you speak to adults, you know, anyone that watches a TED Talk, there's always this thing where people talk about like, what's your one moment? What's that one tagline that someone can take away? And I actually treat talking with high school kids and middle schoolers differently, where I'm like, I want to throw out 10 of these taglines, and I want a kid to be able to grab the one that's relevant to them in that moment, because they're all coming from a different area. Their attention span is not there. So there's a lot more entertainment stuff that I have to do to just keep them engaged.
Wow. And
so I try to throw out a lot of different things that maybe they'll connect with. But I think, you know, for me, a big part of my story and what I share with the kids is, you know, I battled substance abuse when I was younger, and you know, I had some run-ins with the law, and it was a situation for me that created a decent amount of problems in my high school years and college years. And while I don't dive into the specifics of my story, because it's not about alcohol, it's more about the emotions that I was feeling of the, you know, not being good enough, not, you know, having the perfectionism, you know, not feeling like I always fit in, or having that mask that I thought no one really knew who Phil was deep down inside. They knew the version that I was giving people. And, you know, I'd had a parent pass away when I was in high school, and that kind of was the catalyst for a lot of my issues. And what I always want kids to know is, regardless of what they're going through, whether it's the divorce of a parent or the death of a loved one, you know, school is difficult, growing up in a single parent household, whatever it is, there's a ton of issues that face today's youth. But I think I want them to always know you're not alone. You don't have to go it alone. There's people that care about you, that love you, that are there to support you, that want to be there. And the power of community and being able to rely on other people. You know, I just want to get kids talking.
Yeah.
You know, because I
think really when you're, there's so many ages when you feel like if you're creative, you don't fit in. Totally. Or you can't understand the relevance of the curriculum, or you can't really get why they're teaching you certain things that you're pretty sure you'll never use. And then once you tune out, like you said, it can snowball.
Oh,
right?
Totally.
Everything can snowball. So I love that you're in the trenches helping young people, and then on the back end coming up with these television projects, which are so exciting. I'm so glad you took the time. If anyone who missed it, I'm speaking with Phillip Andrew Barb. Keep an eye out for that name. He's an up-and-coming television producer. Love to have you on the show. How can we reach you, follow you, find out more, that kind of thing?
Definitely. I'm very active on Instagram. That's, you know, where all the kids are at these days. So, you know, you can find me there at Phillip Andrew LA. So it's at Phillip Andrew LA, and my website is philipandrew.co, not .com. I don't know. Somebody is holding that .com hostage from me, and I can't. So it's philipandrew.co. And if you're listening to this, thank you so much, and appreciate you, supporting the podcast. And I would love to hear from you guys. So thank you very much for allowing me to come on. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks for coming.